כל השנה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בנהר הבא, בעזרת השם. Sit down, Shlomo. Thank you for coming. Sit down and join us. Today is בעזרת השם 27 of the month of Elul, Wednesday, the fourth day of the week of Parashat Shabbat Rosh Hashanah. There's going to be בעזרת השם 3 mitzvot we'll be learning today, as we already discussed the last week, 605, 607, 606 or 607. 605 commands us not to forget what Amalek did to us. 606 will be discussing that when you bring the Pikurim, you must read a certain Psukim, as it says in the Torah, in mitzvah number 607. At the time we are at the Beit HaMikdash, we must also declare that all the produce that we have grown this year, we have properly separated the Maasrot. B'ezrat Hashem, the Shiuri was sponsored today, לרפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל, ובכללם לחיה בת לאה, יוסף חיים בן מרפרד, and also Yaakov Israel Daniel ben Angela לרפואה שלמם, בעזרת השם בקרוב מאוד. מצווה number 605, שלא נשכח מעשה עמלק שעשה עם אבותינו בצאתם ממצרים. We are prohibited. It's a love. It's avera, prohibition. We are prohibited from forgetting what Amalek did to us. Meaning, this is going to be obviously mean that you cannot say I want to forget. And how is that possible? Yes, a person could actually erase his memory. Here you could actually erase your memory. How does it done? In certain ways. Yeah. We are prohibited to forget that his whole intention was to be mazik us, to harm us. And we already discussed yesterday, the whole intention of Amalek was to put us down, to take away our self-confidence. And it says, as it says in Dvarim chapter 25, pasuk 19, Lo tishkach, you are prohibited to forget. וכתוב בספר זכור, בפה לא תשכח בלב. We are to remember what Amalek did to us is by talking about all the bad things that they did and their intention. As today, anybody who is trying to bring down the morale of the Jewish nation, those are the people that could probably have a nitutzot of Amalek. Bapeh lo tishkach, balev. When the Torah tells us we're not allowed to forget, it's talking about in the heart. Klomar, lo tishlach sinato, velo tasira min nafshecha be'inyan shetishkach ota. As we already discussed, anyone, and the whole concept that we already point out, what was the whole utzma of Amalek? The whole point of Amalek was to harm the Jewish nation. Okay, and what's the best way to harm a Jewish nation? As we know, the Amalek, the whole concept of Amalek is obviously bringing down the morale of the Jewish people, and there is no bringing down on morale of Jewish people than by stopping them from learning Torah. That's why I say anybody today who throws out kids from the yeshiva, we have to check if they're not from Zera Amalek. Anybody who doesn't have a valid excuse, a valid excuse means maybe a child was disruptive, maybe a child caused harm, physical harm, and physical threat. Maybe, and there's a Va'ad Rabbanim that's sitting down, as Rav Yitzchak Yosef, he says clearly, to throw out a child from a yeshiva, you need a Sanhedria of 71. Today, some jokers, including Agudat Israel, Torah Umasora, who are supposed to be proponents of the yeshivot and supporting the Torah, they are unfortunately actually fighting and they're causing big harm by endorsing throwing out children just like that out of yeshivas. Hashem should have mercy on us. And I have no doubt that there is some Amalek involved over there. No doubt at all. Hashem Yerachem Aleinu. Hashem should be Betzaleinu. And we are not supposed to forget it and constantly berate it. And a nation who is so humble and so calm and so merciful has to not remember and forget this. And that's one of mitzvah number 605. Chas v'shalom, to forget this Rashaim. Chas v'shalom, forget this organizations that were responsible for throwing out in 2019, early in February, over 10,000 children from yeshivas. I'm talking about the Agudas Israel. I'm talking about Torah Umasora. I'm talking about OU. I'm talking about Star K. All those organizations that have encouraged it. Rahman al-Islam, we should not forget it, ever. And Hashem should protect us and help us to lead the Torah, live a life of straightness. Chas v'shalom, not fakeness. Mitzvah, some people get upset with me. I call them fake rabbis. I didn't mean they're fake rabbis. I mean they're fake Jews. Anyone who endorses throwing out a child from a yeshiva for no reason, or because parents are not putting their children part of experiments, this is not called a good reason, and they're shaila if they're Jews bichlal. Mitzvah number 606. Mitzvat kriyat ala bechurim, שנצטווינו בהביאנו בקורים למקדש, לקרות עליהם הכתובים, אלו הנזכרים בפרשה זו. So now, it's amazing. What's Bikurim? As we already mentioned in the name of one of my Rebbeim, Alav Shalom, Rabbi Aaron Wolkin, who brought down that specifically the Parshat Bikurim is read right before Rosh Hashanah maybe. And we deduced from that shiur, Baruch Hashem, I deduced from that shiur, at least I understood, that there is a concept of Bikurim, and as you see again, the mitzvah of Bikurim in Chinuch, it's actually mentioned, mitzvah 606, which is 2-3 days right before Rosh Hashanah. And on Rosh Hashanah, there is something to be celebrated. What is to be celebrated? A person had, unfortunately, the most miserable year of life. He lost money, and he lost his parents, and he lost his wife, he lost a child, he lost whatever it is. Whatever happens to him, the person has to know he's still alive. He has to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu kept him here and let him live another year. And right before Rosh Hashanah, that's why this mitzvah of Bikurim is celebrated. Bikurim is a sign of thanking Hashem for what Hashem gave you. And that's what we do. Right before Parashat Rosh Hashanah, we read Parashat Bikurim. And right before Rosh Hashanah, the mitzvah 606 will be constantly, every year, will be learned before Rosh Hashanah. To remind us and to point out to us that we have to be thankful to Hashem. That He gave us a whole year, we survived, we lived, not just survived, some people had a miserable, somebody had a pleasant year. It doesn't matter. You're here alive, you should be thankful. As it says over there, chapter 26, in Dvarim, Pasuk 5, V'amnita v'amarta lifnei Hashem Elokecha. You answered and you shall say in front of Hashem your God, V'zot ha-mitzvah yikra'u zichronam levracha. And this mitzvah called in Masechta Sotah, page 32, Amud Aleph, first side, Mikra Bikurim. This is called the reading of the Bikurim. U'mitzvat hava'atan katavtiv b'kesed talveh aseh zayin. Mitzvah number over there, 91. We discussed of bringing a Bikurim. So bringing Bikurim is one mitzvah. Then there's another mitzvah of reading the psukim. ונכפלה המצווה להביאן כמו כן בפרשה זו, וכבר נודע כי הרבה מן המצוות נכפלו בתורה וכולן לעניין ולצורך גדול. So the rabbi says, yes, even though you're going to say, mitzvah 91, you told me already about Bikurim. Why are you talking to me about it right now? Again, the rabbi says, even though in this parasha we're not counting bringing Bikurim as a mitzvah, but we're counting the kriya, we're counting the pronouncement of the psukim that the Torah told us, and each time that it's mentioned the repetition of a mitzvah, each one has its own significance, and Bezrat Hashem, there's much what to learn. משושי המצווה, לפי שהאדם מעורר מחשבותיו, ומצייר בלבבו, ומייצר בלבבו האמת בכוח דברי פיו, על כן, בהיטיב אליו השם ברוך הוא, ובברכו אותו, ואת אדמתו לעשות פירות, וזכה לביאם בבית אלוהינו. The point of this mitzvah, the rabbi points out, is that a person acts on what he speaks. And over here, we want him to speak out that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him, blessed him with these fruits, and now he's bringing them to the Beit HaMikdash, opportunity to give it to Kohen, to support the Kohen and his family, and he brings it to the Beit HaMikdash and gives it to Kohen. ראוי לו לעורר לבבו בדבריו, בפיו ולהשיב כי הכל הגיע אליו מאת אדון העולם. And it's appropriate for a person, therefore, it's appropriate for a person to pronounce what HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the merciful one, and the one that gives us a blessing, and the one that gives us everything, what he did to us, and he's giving it to us. ויספר חסידיו יתברך עלינו ועל כל עם ישראל דרך כלל. And over here, it's a good thing that a person is to be mentioned. So when we sit on Rosh Hashanah, and we're going to be saying, Hashem, have mercy on us for the next coming year, we should not forget and say, thank you, Hashem, for the previous year. ועל כן מתחיל בעניין יעקב אבינו שחלצו האל מיד לבן בעניין עבודת המצרים בנו ויצילנו הוא ברוך הוא מידם. Again, the whole parsha we start from Yaakov Avinu escaping from Lavan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved us from Mitzrayim. ואחר כך שבח מבקש מלפניו להתמיד הברכה עליו. And then what do? First, this is how we learn how to daven on Rosh Hashanah. How do you daven on Rosh Hashanah? You're not coming on Rosh Hashanah and you say, Hashem, make me a good year. Here is a klal. This is the rule. What is the rule is? Hashem, thank you for the previous year. You must thank Him. It's giving you a lesson how to behave with Hashem, to thank Him for the past, and once you thank Him properly for the past, now since you are holding of that your makir tov, you pointed it out significantly, mamash, you were pleased. His wife died. His child died. Or his mother died. His father died. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're alive. You're alive. You're right here. You were here last year at Tavshin Pei Bet, Erev Rosh Hashanah. Now you walked into Tavshin Pei Gimel. You didn't know what's going to happen. You hoped for the best. Whatever happened, good or bad, doesn't matter to you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu left you here. Now you're here. Now we go further. So what's the best way to assure that next year I'm going to bring Bikurim? What's the best way to assure that I'm going to be standing next year, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Tavshin Pei Dalet? What's next year I'm going to be standing? The best way to assure is first mention, Hashem, I'm here. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. I'm here. My children are here. A person lost his daughter or his son. I have other children, Baruch Hashem. Fine to thank Hashem. Once you thank Him and you're rejoicing by thanking Him, rejoicing. That's why on Rosh Hashanah we eat, not Yom Kippur. On Rosh Hashanah, why we eat? Because you have to rejoice. You have to be celebrating. Beautiful thing. Somebody sent a video around. Very nice video. That there was a boy. Rebbe called him up before Rosh Hashanah. And he's a good boy. He learns Torah, but he gets angry very fast. So the rabbi says, "I'll give you $500. Don't get angry this year, okay?" And he gave him the $500 up front. So a whole year passes by, and the boy comes back to the rabbi, and the rabbi calls him, "No, how was this year?" He says, "Rabbi, here's $500 back." Why? I got angry. I couldn't control myself. You got angry? Yes. So the rabbi says to him, "So how many times did you get angry?" Rabbi, too many to count. What too many to count? Tell me how many times you got angry. He says, I can't believe that you took on yourself not to get angry and you didn't write down every time you got angry. Pulls out the paper. He says, yes, Rabbi, I got angry 48 times. I got angry 48 times. The Rabbi started dancing, rejoicing, and smiling, and mamash. Rabbi said, tonight we're making a big feast. Invited the whole yeshiva. Mamash spent a lot of money on catering, the whole thing. So what happened? I said, you're keeping the $500. Why? Out of 365 days, you only got angry 48 days. 317 days you didn't get angry? Right? To celebrate. We have to celebrate that. Erev Rosh Hashanah, dancing and singing. And that's why Erev Rosh Hashanah, we eat. We celebrate. What do? What's eating for? Right? People make a levaya. People eat in the levaya, maybe after levaya, to come down the avelim, people who are mourners. But to calm them down, you give them food. But people don't rejoice. Don't make a big party. They don't make music. Right? What do we do on Rosh Hashanah? Singing, food, fat, oily, mamish, greasy, and a lot of sugar and the sweets. Right? Everything is. And by the way, no bitter food is allowed. Rosh Hashanah, no bitter food. Why? Because it's Yom Tov. It's celebrating the fact that Hashem left us alive. The whole Tavshin Pei Gimel, we survived, and now we're coming to thank Him for that. Now that you thanked Him, tomorrow morning, what do? We take out the shofar. We start remind Hashem what? We don't blow shofar at night. Why? Because shofar is a crying. We're crying. Shofar is a crying. It's not like, oh, look at this guy. This guy blows perfect. What do you mean blows perfect? We rather have, in the yeshiva time, a Rosh Yeshiva, but he hardly breathes. He's taking a shofar, blowing like I don't know what. And you look at it, that's what Hashem wants. Not, oh, this guy knows how to blow. He's a perfect person, professional. He's a professional. Shofar is crying. So we do it. When do we cry for next year? In the morning. We don't do it at night. Why don't we do it at night? Because now we're celebrating. At night we're celebrating that you stayed alive the whole year before. Celebrate now. Tomorrow you will daven. That's what Bikurim is. Mitzvah 606. All right? Anybody who brings Bikurim, right? So now we're coming to the shul on Rosh Hashanah night, and we don't say thank you to Hashem. Allah, what happened? Chas v'shalom, You're not thankful. You have to be thankful. You have to praise Hashem for the kindness that He did to us. Mitzvah number 607. Mitzvat vidui ma'aser. What is going on here? שנצטווינו להתוודות לפני השם ברוך הוא ולהגיד בפינו בבית המקדשנו ושהוצאנו מהמסורות ותרומות ומתבואות ובפירותינו. So a person, in olden days especially, they had production of food growing, they had fields and everything. So now there are certain masrot throughout the whole year that you're supposed to perform. So again, we are ending of the year 607, mitzvah 607, to telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have fulfilled throughout this whole year all that is commanded on us. As it says in Dvarim, chapter 26, Pasuk Yud Gimel, 13, Ma'amarta levnei Hashem Elokecha, Be'arti HaKodesh min habayit. So now, when do you do it? Obviously, when you come to the Beit HaMikdash, bringing the peirot, the bikurim, you said, the gifts to the Kohanim. Now you also point out and you expand and expound on the fact that you have fulfilled and you were zocheh. You gave HaKadosh Baruch Hu what Hashem commanded us. A person makes a living today, right? He makes a living today, and he's supposed to give masrot, 10%, 20%, whatever. We're not even right now want to discuss exactly what it is. Obviously, that many people make a mistake. It's supposed to be 20%. Yeah, tap your foot. Tap your foot. There's a lizard in it. Tap your foot. Yeah, what else? That's it. He left. Okay. Somebody opened the door. All right. Anyway, this is Florida. You got lizards instead of cockroaches. Okay. Mitzvah. What is the mitzvah here? לפי שסגולת האדם מגודל שבחו הוא הדיבור שהוא יותר בו על כל מיני הנבראים. The whole point of a human, what is the whole point of a human? Is talking, expanding, expounding on the greatness and the thanking Hashem for what He has done for us. And you want Him to point out, I did it. שאילו מצד יתר התנועותיו גם שאר בעלי חיים יתנועו כמוהו, ועל כן יש הרבה מבני אדם שאין מלפסול דיבורם שהוא ההוד הגדול שבהם יותר מלאכתו במעשה. What are we talking about now? Listen to this beautiful thing. On Saret Yemei HaTeshuvah, the 10 days of Teshuvah, a lot of people are, if they say words like stupid or bad, things that are not pleasing to say in the mouth, right? On the 10 days, no matter what they try, even in the teaching, even though, not to say those kind of words. A person should train himself that at least those 10 days, he's more careful what comes out of his mouth. Be very careful. And by that, what are we showing? That we are training ourselves somewhat to control what comes out of our mouth. Okay, even though you're going to say, what's really stupid? Stupid means akum, when it's not straight, right? But still, today it's misused and people sometimes berate other people. So try not to berate the people at least during the 10 days. It's very hard, right? It's very hard. A person should try all his life, especially a person who doesn't berate other people, who doesn't talk bad down. I mean, I'm talking to myself, obviously. But it's not Hashem should help us. And that's what we're doing here. Mitzvah 607, we are talking Dvarim Shebekdusha. We fulfill the mitzvot Hashem. We fulfill the commandments of Hashem. And now with that, hopefully, it will bring out with us, stop talking bad things and stop calling people name. I'm talking to myself as always, Hashem should give us protection. And as we already said, obviously this mitzvah is only at the time of the Beit HaMikdash, but it's today, you could say it. You should be thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? You're coming Rosh Hashanah, Yonatan. Yeah. The question is, the guy made $1 million, or he made $100,000, or he made $10,000. What do you say to Hashem? Hashem, Baruch Hashem. You know what? I gave Masrot. I fulfilled what you commanded me. Or it's a minhag. Today, tzedakah is a minhag. It's a custom. Good. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I fulfilled the minhag avotenu biyadenu. I fulfilled our forefathers' custom, and I fulfilled what was passed down to us. Masrot today is from it's a minhag, it's a custom that we are, as the Jews, accepted it, and Bezat Hashem, each one of us will fulfill it properly, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us a beautiful, wonderful year. If you have to go to work. B'shefa, b'nachat. You should make a lot of money without any tzarot.